Well, hey there team, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to a bit more Stationeers. We're doing the level 1 update playthrough. Sorry, it's been a few days. Even though we're going pretty hammer and tongs on the old hard space, I still want to play a lot of Stationeers. There's still a lot of interest, don't worry, there's going to be a lot. Unfortunately, we had a critical sort of game-breaking bug. It's sort of my first one with my time playing this, and it just would not load my saves. Sadly, my solution was I just kept resetting it and reinstalling it and all that, and just this morning when I woke up and did another PC reset, it decided it was going to work. It wouldn't load saves, it wouldn't start new worlds or anything like that. So if you've seen something like that before, feel free to pop over to the Discord and have a chat with them in the Stationeers Discord. The devs were pretty helpful, though it seems to be a fresh sort of problem, so they didn't necessarily have a solution. But, fortunately it resolved itself, but also kind of unfortunately not really sure what I did. But anyway, I digress. Our potatoes are in there doing their thing. We've got our little sort of system set up. Got a rudimentary sort of power source, and we've got our production coming underway with our research being the next step. So we're going to move on towards that. Welding torch and iron sheets. I'm going to eat a bit of my candy bar first. As much as this UI is a lot more sleek, it's going to take some getting used to. I do like that, see down the bottom, vitals, 54%. It used to not tell you that much. It would only tell you when you hit a warning, but everything's much smaller and compact in the corner. It's probably a good thing, but a bit of a curmudgeon-y part of me is sort of a little resistant to the change, just because I was comfortable with the way things were before. But like I said, I'll admit that that's a bit of a cranky old man sort of perspective, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it all goes in the future. As always, you can check in the description or the pinned comment. I'll have a list for I have a link for a poll to the community page, and from there you'll be able to go and vote for what games you want to see played on the channel. The one that wins the poll gets featured tomorrow on the channel, and if it's popular, we'll just keep playing it. That way the community has a say in what direction we're going. You can also chuck in a comment again that you would like to see featured on the channel. And I'll put that in the big old bucket, as we're calling it, and then we'll just randomly shuffle it out. Okay, so you might not have realized, but this requires 9 electronic parts. Jesus, it's that many? Holy Christ. So this is a thing here we can build here. Iron, gold, and copper, and it's going to take quite a bit. In fact, hang on, let's look at the gold. What was it? 9, so we're going to need 18 gold. Do we even, let's turn that off. Do we even have that on our person? Oh, look at this. I'm going to take advantage of our grid's working quite well. Wait, what happened there? Did I not even pull that out? There we go. Silly me. So let's get our ore out. It would be cool to have like a little ore storage. Oh, there we go. We've got 25 gold, so that's going to be, we'll spend a bit of power on that. How much was it? It was 2 and then 9, so 19. No, 18, sorry. What are you doing? We had 25 there, so 7 remainder would probably do the job. Obviously, you don't want to be wasting power if you can help it. Efficiency is everything. This is the closest that you're going to get to a game of the Martian. Especially when you're first starting off. It's very tough, man. But I love it. I really do. Now, something I was thinking about, apparently they've got some sort of reverse electrolysis machine in this where you can take, I think it can make water. Normally, electrolysis breaks water down, from my understanding. But in this, you can combine that in, that starts making me think, because, I love efficiency. It's what I live for. That's what probably a lot of you guys think as well. One thing that you might not realize on this channel, I'm king of redundancy. I love having safety systems and that. A bit unusual, I know. It's almost like I've done, excuse me, industry engineering before or something like that. So CO2, X, N2, and O2. There's trace amounts of O2 in the atmosphere, and I'm pretty sure that's not my fault. So even though it's just 1%, that to me is infinite O2. If you think about it, right? If we had a pump set up to essentially infinite electricity, right? and we've got the storage, and we're dealing with the waste gases and the filtering and all that sort of thing, surely we now have an infinite supply of O2, right? Now, sadly, there's no H in the atmosphere. I mean, that's probably a good thing, if we're being perfectly honest. But it would be cool if we had like an infinite supply of that, because then we can make water. Not that we really run out of water. 18, 3 copper. What was it, 9? So we're gonna need, what's that, 27 copper to make all of these. Oh, I just swapped the wrong one out. You silly boy. Oh, here we go. We've got that. Now we've got 13 ore there. That's definitely empty. 13 iron, sorry. And we've already got, oh, we've got 13 in there. What's that, 26? We're literally 1 iron short. Oh, jeez. What are the odds? Right, well, we'll do that. I'll just let that cook for a sec, because I don't... See these little light patches? I can't tell if that's like ore glowing through the floor or something. It's been a bit confusing, the way that they've changed the textures. God, I'm trying to remember if we found some iron. Because I've sort of done 2 Mars tile sets back to back. Because of the patch, we restarted the recent one, so my memory's a little hazy on the environmental specifics. Jesus, is there just no ore? What is going on, game? Look at this hole. Holy oh my goodness. Alright, we've got copper over... Is that copper? No, that's iron. Okay. And there's gold there. Alright, jetpack. Okay, cool. We only need a touch, but we'll get a stack while we're here. I do love this game. Anyone that's been with the channel for a while, I know a lot of you, well, not a lot of you, but a big chunk of the old timers actually came to the channel because of this. And it probably tracked my growth, because I started out as a fair bit of a beginner. That's sort of, I guess that's my gimmick. That's sort of the way I operate, is that I have that engineering knowledge base, that, you know, that problem solving capacity, and the way that I look at the world as pistons and cogs. And then, you know, I like to employ that for problem solving and that sort of thing. But, and yeah, so when we started out, I definitely was not an expert. That's why I defer to others. If you're looking for an expert, this is not the channel. But I think we've grown fairly well. We've come up with some really good systems, you know. And we've learnt a lot. Alright, now 3 degrees temperature. External is 16 degrees. Is that going to be too cold? That's probably going to be too cold. Right? So let's just set... No, that's inward. Because the ambient temperature's warmer. I'm actually going to drain it a little bit. I don't want that much pressure in there. Yeah, that's a bit better. I mean, I guess having it too cold it's a good problem to have. How's this going? Oh, that's finished. Okay. Let's get it up to 10 degrees or something. Oh no, we're good for power. Oh, that's fine. The pump's barely hurting my network. Yeah, right. That'll do. Okay. Again, I do need to look up the specific capacity of these pipes, right? I don't really want to explode them. I don't know what the pressure that these pipes can take. I couldn't even speculate. But I'll keep saying it and keep not looking it up, I'm sure. Electronic parts, let's go. How quick are you going to make them? Oh, pretty quick. 1. Alright, so we just, we grind this out. Then we'll get the research going. But yeah, so I was musing the idea, I like the idea of these planets with atmosphere, because the moon doesn't have atmosphere, which to me, the only renewable source of anything, the only renewable is solar power on the moon. But if you have an atmosphere, you can use solar power to make the atmosphere infinitely harvestable and renewable, right? So what can you do with those gases? Not a lot usually, but the oxygen we can use, and like I said, if there was a H2 component, we could make water with the new technology, but we can't. I think there is technically that's enough. I think there is technically H2 in the atmosphere on Vulcan. So funnily enough, Vulcan might be a bit easier now. But we'll see, I guess. Screwdriver. I just went on autopilot there, my bad. Alright. Wait, why are you saying screwdriver? Oh. Construct. That's strange. Okay, that's fine though. We have to rig the power in that goes around. Ah, yes, very good. We'll keep eating the muesli bars. I don't think I've ever gotten my food up and running this quickly before. That's so good, actually, having the vitals down the bottom. Alright, is this my empty stack, just in case? Very good. While we work this out. Alright, we'll close this up. We'll open this up. What are we looking at in here? 20 degrees. Pressure's a bit low. Well, that's because, obviously, I stole a lot of the pressure previously. Now what's going on here? Harvest potato, that's good news. Alright. Look at that, before you know it, we got bulk potatoes. I can't believe this took me like 10 episodes to figure out. Potatoes, no sunlight, that's fine. 21 degrees, we could bump that down. Interesting that 9 kPa is not giving it any stress. But every time we open this and then close it, we're kind of halving the pressure. So we're sort of expected to inject a reasonable amount of pressure in, which is why we can't let this get too cold. Right? Set outward. Just give it a squirt and hopefully you don't stuff this up again. 17 degrees? And 14 kPa. We didn't quite double it. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, we can work with that. We can work with that. I'm sort of just trying to... We had roughly 10 degrees in the pipe, right? It would be good if I could actually see the pipe on this side, but sadly no. We built the wall the other way around. In fact, what we should have done is built the reverse wall. We probably still could. We could build a wall on the reverse side and take this one down. And then we could monitor the pipes from in here. That sounds actually quite interesting. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're happy. They've got enough pressure. Their temperature's good. Nice. But we want to keep this warm air 100% set inward. Nice. Cool. And then just to re-inspect this pipe, where we at? 11 degrees? Okay. Okay. We'll see, but it will obviously cool down during the night. The other thing is, like, if we did reverse the wall, we could keep the pipes in there and we could potentially close this outer airlock to reduce cooling through the night. In fact, that's a fantastic idea that I will probably implement never. Or at a later date, I suppose. Okay, cool. Let's get some cable going. I wonder if we've got enough. Okay, here we go. Oh, we're just gonna make it. Perfect. How good is that? Bloody banger. Alright, our power grid's doing okay as well. Cool. So what did we want to tech into? Oh god, I think I had something specific in mind previously, but I'm not that worried. Well, logic? Logic, everyone begs me to rig up the bloody solar panel with logic. I suppose. Yeah, we could do that. Let's do that. Excuse me, sir. Oh, there's an on switch, isn't there? Yeah, that's right. I knew that. Automation. Logic. Hang on. That is what we want. Basic logic controls. We're going to need one red research thing, which we can do over here. There. And what are you going to take? Oh, 2 more gold, but otherwise you're quite happy. Oh, wait, did I, copper. Oh, I think because I cooked all of that copper. Yeah. That's making sense in my mind's eye now. Okay. We've got so many potatoes, too. Oh, I just belted my wrench. Oh, there it is. So yeah, on renewables, like, so hydrogen's sort of the spanner in the works, which, or H2, whatever you want to call it. In this game, I don't think they call it that. They call it volatiles. Or that's where it comes from, volatiles. I can't remember if it's not technically, like, you've got X and all that. Like, not everything lines up 1 to 1. We'll just cook all of this stuff. And the only way that we're going to be able to get that is from the volatile ore. So that's sort of one of the pressure points. We've got O2, but if we have ore, and we've got power, so that's, with that ore, with the missing H, we can make water, which means we can make food, and we've got power as well. So H is sort of the, if you want to think big picture, that is the pressure point, right? Also, along the way, things like construction materials, but they come into the same category of H because they have to be sort of dug out of the earth, and it's not like we can manufacture ore, or can we? Right, because you have a trading station. I've never really played with the trading station, but I'm very curious. Now this, it has to process that thing, and it takes a little time to do that. So the mining tech is something that we want to really get our head around as well. But just really quickly on the trading platform, there's 2 sort of exploits that I think about constantly. Automation, let's get logic. Cool. All right. So now we should have access to logic controllers. So I think to myself, we can do trade, but there's also the organics printer. And I think the whole point of that is, I believe, like, they want to have it so you can do bloody lung surgery on someone, you know, replace their body parts. And that's sort of a future thing. But I think, I don't know what you can print from that, but you can use electricity to make organic stuff. So like maybe potatoes and that, in which case, why even have survival? Or, you know what I mean? If you can just use infinite energy to print stuff. But that seems to be a bit late game tech, to be honest. Okay, logic. Why don't we just write logic? Why? You are the electronics printer, are you not? Circuit board. Have I made a boo-boo here? I could have sworn I said, give me the logic. Automation. Maybe I bought the wrong thing. I bought like a logic automation thing. Oh. Well, this system's a bit confusing. Basic logic systems. That's what we need. That's what we need. All right, my bad, team. The fun of keeping a running monologue whilst playing a game. You know? Sometimes you can distract yourself. Okay. Oh, well, look at this. Who even cares? We've got a spare technology out of that. That's wonderful. Alright. Bloody put this in the oven. Give it a cook. But like, yeah, once you've got a grasp of the survival mechanics, I think it's got a similar loop to say a satisfactory, where you want to reduce what I call rounds. You know, like going in and changing out the plants and all that. You need to maintenance rounds, which is a thing in ships and that sort of stuff. It needs to be reduced, otherwise that will just become your life, and then you won't have progress forward. Basic logic systems. Okay, that sounds good. Let's get that. No, I just wanted to leave the menu. Why can't escape do that? Okay, here we go. Logic. There we go. No, not IC. That's something for much later. All right. What do we need? We need an in-out. Have we got enough stuff? Cool. We actually need 2 of these, right? In-out counts as batching and writing. I always forget. It's pretty basic stuff, actually. You just got to get your head around it. Once you got your head around it, mate, you're laughing. It's one of those just sort of basic principles, and I'll do my best to explain it all. Oops. Maybe if I just press that button, it turns it off. I don't know. Okay. We're going to need a processor chip. Gold. We're going to need gold. Oh, okay. How's the base going? All good? Well, I could probably leave it unattended. Yeah, cool. I could have sworn we saw gold over here when we were out there just before, right? So let's get a big old stack of gold. So, again, I know I've been through it a few times. I'm sure the old timers don't mind, right? But there's plenty of new people watching this. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to teach the solar panel to track the sun as close as possible, right? It's only really rotating on one axis. Oh, that's the wrong button.
Oxygen critical.
That's I and not J. Open me helmet. We're basically going to teach it to track the sun along its axes. There's no offset kilter, but there can be. I don't think there is here, because we're in a custom map. So Moon is the same. I think Mars is the same, to be honest. I don't know if I've actually ever done Mars. I'm just doing the Mars tile set for the custom mode because we wanted to put the research into the game, right? And the research, as I understand it, is not actually in the base game as of yet. Which is interesting. I can't wait for it because it is a huge bottleneck to your progress for sure. It's actually perfect. But so what we want to do is get it to track that. Now the reason why it's a little bit of a headache, it's actually just a math conversion problem in that it is obviously moving, in a sort of pi related, it depends how you look at it. We'll say degrees, right? It's moving 360 degrees because it's a circular motion, right? But if you have a look at the actual solar panel and the way that the wrench allows you to adjust angles, it doesn't do it in degrees. It does it in percentage. This is clearly a design decision, I think, to stump people a little bit, because you could easily just have it do it in degrees. There's no reason not to, other than to mess with players, I think. I'm all for it, because it's almost like I don't want to sound a bit like elitist, but it's good to have these almost little skill checks along the way to bottleneck you from progress from your own comprehension of engineering problems. So essentially, which isn't a bad thing, it's good. You need to be challenged. Everyone wants to be challenged. You're not playing this game because it's bloody easy. So ultimately, you need to set up a system where it can draw in the degree angle of the solar panel at a given time, and then it can convert it into a percentage ratio so that the dish can read that and understand it. That's it. That's the problem. That's all it is. Geez, we're getting a bit of gold this time, and this is good. So if you can get your laughing gear wrapped around that, then you're cooking with gas. You're all fine. Okay, let's get out of this bloody hole. Alright, where am I? So that's pretty much all it is. So I'll show you how to do it. It's as simple as like with that information, if you ran off going, okay, cool, that's how I solved the problem, you would figure it out. You will figure it out pretty straightforward. It's not that hard. So we'll do that. Have to smelt some of this. The other thing is getting a furnace. A lot of people are scared of the furnace. I was scared of the furnace for a long time. Furnace is your friend. Especially since people pointed out like a real basic. So this takes 1 ore and cooks it. The furnace takes 2. So you can make alloys at certain temperatures and pressures. The basic stuff, steel, very easy to make. You don't have to make a super regulated furnace. I've done one before, and I will do one again, I'm sure. But the thing that you might miss, because you're a Humpty Dumpty fathead just like me, is that you can just put the single ore in. You could put this entire block of gold into the furnace that's burning hot already, and it will instantly smelt the whole pile. Huge. Huge time saver, huge power saver. Not something that I intuited because, you know, my head's square. Logic processor. But it's worth pointing out because someone pointed out fairly recently, and that's a bit of a life changer to me, actually. It makes the furnace way more essential. Get off that arc furnace as soon as possible. Oh, I didn't test my thing. That's okay. All right, so we've got that, which we'll use as a math chip, but we're also going to need a logic chip because in order for it to convert, there is a constant ratio number, which should be 1.8 if you think about it. Spoiler, in case you wanted to figure it out for yourself. And you need to sort of lock that in some way. Okay, now, the thing that I managed to confuse myself on and get into trouble is getting the sensor to give me the correct reading. Now, what throws me off, I believe, is if you look at the sensor, that's a trap. What you need is what the logic machine chooses to feed from the sensor in. I'll be with you. So that's the sensor that we start with. I'll come back to that in a sec. I'll just change my... Where is the sun? It's over there. No. Okay, so I'll just do my power before I forget and, you know, die. Look, that'll do. It's not the best efficiency, but that'll do. Okay, so essentially you need to install the sensor and it will basically... Wait, why can't you... That's interesting. I thought we could build onto walls now. Has it got to do with its angle? I don't think so. Daylight sensor, what else we got there? Motion sensor and gas sensor. Oh, these are all very handy. Anyway, so we stuck it on here. Solar angle question mark. See, that's, if you start thinking about that too much, I think that's where I shot myself in the foot last time. I started to overthink it all. It doesn't matter so much because I think the way that the logic chip talks to it, it can extract different data than that. You'll see. I think we'll put the logic here because we wouldn't build anything because we don't want to obstruct that line of sight, and that might turn into a corridor in a way. So that makes sense. So let's do this. Let's do that. And then we'll weld this. Cool. That'll do. You can weld one more to make it airtight. There's no need. It is a waste of resources otherwise. And essentially that's I mean, this is probably the best place to love you and leave you. We've finished up for time. It's like therapy sessions or something. But we will pick up on the next one and we'll set up a logic set. We should be able to fit it into one block, and we might even end up hijacking one of these power sources to use as its own independent power source to fuel it, because you can probably, if you have a think about it, this requires power to operate. Like the logic requires power to move this, to generate power. So you've got this loop of it requires its own power source. It's a bit dangerous. Well, not dangerous, but there's a point of failure in there that you try and mitigate. So you want to have a separate from the grid power source that can't be drained and is dedicated to that. Unfortunately, that's a little tricky to do, especially with a small battery. You kind of actually need a large battery, if we're being perfectly honest. But we'll cross all that on the next one. Team, thanks again for joining me. If you have any questions, ask, right? If you feel stupid because of this game, you're not alone. I constantly do, and I've done a bazillion episodes. And if you're one of the sort of pocket experts out there that has something useful to say and contribute, hey, it's always welcome by all means. Though it is still early days, there's not, we're just sort of running the sort of path of tutorial at the moment. Team, thanks again for joining me. We might just leave it there for the time being, and I will catch you guys on the next one.